I look at the Eagles and I feel like they're fallible, but yet they have not been fouled yet. Don't think that's a word. So now they're going to go on the road to the Meadowlands and take on the Jets. Now, to me, do not misconstrue this, America. I am not saying I believe in Zach Wilson. That's not what I'm saying. I think Zach Wilson's getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not so much that can Zach Wilson play. I think the answer there is yes. I just wonder how confident can he be.
Well, and look, part of that, too, is that Nathaniel Hackett, was brought in because he was Aaron Rodgers' guy in Green Bay.
Wasn't Zach Wilson's guy.
This whole offense was supposed to be geared around Aaron Rodgers. And now, all of a sudden, you got to flip the script and say, okay, what's Zach Wilson's skill set here? And gear it around him. And, he's a good athlete, yep. Zach Wilson. People think he's not athletic. He's absolutely athletic and can run. Now, that's what you have to do with him, too. You're not really, even though Aaron has some mobility, you're not really rolling Aaron out necessarily much to make plays with his legs. You're not giving him like RPOs. You're doing that a little bit more with Zach Wilson because that's what I think he's better at this standpoint. And Zach was efficient today. I know had the interception. He's got to cut down on the turnovers. And one thing Zach Wilson does, too, he beats himself up over these things, too.
So, he needs to be like, I'm the quarterback of the New York Jets. I got a great defense with me. I've got a running game. And we saw it today in Denver in that win against Denver. They've got some things there. Now, they're getting 6.5. That's what this number opened against the Eagles. And, boy, do I want to talk myself into back in the Jets.
Keep in mind, they were getting, as high as 9.5, and then it got bet lower to the Jets.
Right.
Or, to Kansas City, rather.
Which Mahomes slid down at the 1 to the consternation of Chiefs backer.
But the Jets were the right side, I think, in terms of if you look at how the game played out and the box score and all that stuff.
See, I like to, that's why, again, I was on the wrong side with the Cowboys. I like to take teams with what I think are elite defenses catching points, right? Because I always feel like the defenses should be able to keep you in games. The one problem against the Eagles is they're very physical as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if this turns into a slug it out fest and the Jets can't run the ball like they did against Denver, then it becomes the Zach Wilson show, and that could be a problem.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Can they get enough movement up front and move the Eagles back to use Breece Hall, to use Dalvin Cook, to not put it all on Zach Wilson? If I had the answer was yes, I do trust the Jets defense, and I didn't think they were particularly great today against Denver, but they were good enough, and they got the late fumble and took it to the house to make it a 10-point win. But if they can get some turnovers against Philly, and Zach doesn't turn it over as well, I think they're playable here.
That defense is going to have to be better. Good enough isn't going to be good enough next week against Philly. And one of the things that stood out for Philadelphia today, they stayed on the field so much because on third down, 13 of 18 on third down. If you can't get a team off the field, which the Rams could not do today, I think Philadelphia had the ball like 38 minutes and the Rams had it 22. And that's why you see, even though the score was only 23-14, and I think the Eagles were like 4-point favorites. Money came in, by the way. Some sharp money came in on the Rams. It wasn't well placed, it turns out, though. Eagles dominated in the box score today. 28-17 first downs, 454 to 249, 5.8 yards a play to 4.5. So Eagles really dominated the box score here, and just maybe we're a little bit sloppy in the red zone and had to settle for a couple field goals instead of closing them off with touchdowns. But I think that the Jets at least have some kind of positivity coming in because I think that was a big win to win for Nathaniel Hackett. You saw it at the end of the game and everybody shaking his hand and hugging him. They knew what it meant to come back to the team that made him one and done last year. So maybe that emotion carries over. I don't know if I want to take the number now considering I was getting 9.5 against Kansas City. And do you really separate Kansas City and Philadelphia by 3 points?
To me, if you're going to back the Jets, though, if you're going to back the Jets, and I'm with you, you're saying I might not be, the number might be too short for you.
Yeah, I think I would need 7.
And if you don't get that, I don't think you are going to get that because what I've seen recently is feels like we're seeing a lot of action against the Eagles leading up to games. Like that number with the Rams moved two full
because
points.
Even as talented as they are, they don't look as dominant and explosive. They it's a little bit of death by paper cuts.
Yeah.
I think, they get to third and manageable, and they can convert third downs like they did today.
And they just stay on the field and wear you down physically. So I think if you're an Eagles backer, you might want to wait, because I actually think this number would come down for you. If you're a Jets backer, this might be the best of the number that you get.
Yeah, you might be right, because one of the things about the Eagles too is that they have new coordinators, and they're off to a better start than I thought they were going to be. Even though the schedule was kind of soft early, it is going to toughen up though as we get later in the season.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.